I'm staring at a final exam question that I have genuinely never seen before in my life. I have no idea how to solve it, but in my ear, a calm voice is already whispering the answer. It's an AI, and it's analyzing the question and feeding me the solution in real time. The anti-cheating software, it sees nothing. The human proctor watching my webcam, they see nothing either. This is how students are combining a new generation of AI with nearly invisible hardware to make cheating on high-stakes exams practically undetectable. Today, we're breaking down exactly how they do it, why it's so effective, and whether this is the beginning of the end for exams as we know them. Section 1. The problem. The unblinking eye of the proctor. To understand the weapon, you have to understand the battlefield. The past decade has seen a huge shift in education, pushing millions of students online. And with that came a multi-billion-dollar industry, remote proctoring. Companies like ProctorU, Examity, and Onolock became the digital guards of academic integrity. Their methods are basically what you'd get if you turned institutional paranoia into a tech company. When you log in for a proctored exam, you're stepping into a surveillance state. First, you have to prove you're you. Hold your ID to the camera, scan your face, and sometimes even give the webcam a tour of your room to show you're alone and your desk is clear. The moment the exam starts, the software takes over. It locks your browser, so no opening new tabs. It records your screen, your microphone, and your webcam from start to finish. But the real secret sauce is the AI. These systems use complex algorithms to analyze your every move. Gaze tracking AI flags you if you look away from the screen for too long. Head pose estimation tracks your head angle. Audio analysis listens for whispers. Some even track your typing rhythm, looking for patterns that suggest someone else is at the keyboard. If the AI flags too many suspicious behaviors, it pings a human proctor who can jump in and review the footage. For schools, it's a way to prevent mass cheating. But for students, it's an environment of crushing pressure. The fact that you're being watched, recorded, and judged by an algorithm creates this baseline of anxiety that can tank your performance. This non-stop surveillance has created a system so oppressive that, for some students, the game isn't about mastering the material anymore. It's about beating the system, and that's where a new kind of tech comes into play. Section 2, the solution. The ghost in the machine. The perfect cheating method isn't just one app or a clever trick. It's an entire ecosystem of hardware and software working together to become a ghost in the machine. It really comes down to 3 key parts. The hardware that makes you invisible, the AI that makes you a genius, and the process that ties it all together. First, the hardware. This is your invisibility cloak. The main gadget is a pair of normal-looking smart glasses. Think Meta AI glasses or something similar. To anyone else, they just look like regular prescription specs or blue light blockers. But hidden inside the frame is a tiny high-def pinhole camera. Its job is simple: see what you see. It's not always recording, it just waits for a secret trigger, like a subtle tap on the frame or a click from a device in your pocket. Next is the micro earpiece. These have been around, but modern versions are incredibly small and colored to match your skin tone. Designed to fit so deep in your ear canal, they're basically invisible. This is how the answers get delivered. Finally, there's the controller, which is usually just a smartphone tucked away in a pocket. It connects to the glasses and the earpiece using Bluetooth. By using its own cellular data, it completely bypasses the school's network and any proctoring software on the computer. This simple setup creates a secret, invisible pipeline for information that the exam software has no jurisdiction over. This isn't just theory. A university candidate in Turkey was recently caught using a similar setup, with a camera disguised as a shirt button and a router in his shoe. Now for the magic ingredient, the AI. We're not talking about your basic chatbot. The engine running this whole operation is a powerful multimodal AI. Models like OpenAI's GPT-4 and Google's Gemini are the next frontier because they're not just limited to text. They can understand information from multiple sources at once: text, images, audio, you name it. This is what makes the system so brutally effective. When the student looks at a question and triggers the camera, it doesn't just snap a photo. That image is instantly sent to the multimodal AI, which doesn't just see pixels, it reads and understands the content. It doesn't matter if it's a multiple-choice question, an essay prompt, a complex math equation, or even a diagram. The AI gets it. So, let's walk through the perfect crime, from start to finish. 1. The student starts their exam. Proctoring software is running, the webcam is on, the mic is listening. Everything looks normal. 2. They hit a tough question. They just look at it, and with a hidden tap or click, the camera in their glasses captures a high-res image and sends it to the phone in their pocket. 3. The phone uploads that image to a cloud server running the multimodal AI. 4. The AI does its thing. It analyzes the image, figures out the question, comes up with the right answer, and then turns that answer into a natural-sounding audio file. This whole process takes just a few seconds. 5. The audio file is streamed back to the student's phone, which then sends it to the invisible earpiece. 6. The student hears the answer whispered in their ear. To the proctoring software and any human watching, they just look like they're concentrating, maybe pausing to think for a moment before typing out the perfect AI-generated response. The entire loop is closed off, completely invisible to the system. Section 3. The flaw in the system. Why it's so hard to detect. This method works so well because it doesn't try to fight the proctoring software. It just walks right around it. It targets the blind spots in both the tech and the human side of remote exams. Proctoring software, as smart as it is looking for a specific list of red flags. It's looking for another program running on your computer, but this cheating setup is a completely separate physical system. It's listening for you talking, but the earpiece is silent to any outside microphone. It's tracking your browser, but all the data is moving over a cellular network, never touching the exam computer. Most importantly, it's looking for suspicious eye movements. But with this method, the student looks completely natural. They are, literally, just looking at the exam question. The tiny movements needed to frame the question for the camera are no different from normal reading. There's no looking around the room or glancing down at notes. The student can stay perfectly calm and focused. And even if a school suspects AI use later, the next line of defense, AI writing detectors like Turnitin, are fighting a losing battle. For one, the student is typing the answer themselves, which can hide the robotic rhythm of AI text. But more importantly, these detectors are notoriously unreliable. Studies and reports have repeatedly shown they spit out false positives, especially for non-native English speakers. They can be tricked with simple paraphrasing, and some research has found that even when professors were given papers that were 100% written by AI, they failed to spot 97% of them. The final backstop is the human proctor, and they're probably the easiest to fool. A person watching a dozen video feeds at once is looking for obvious cheating. Someone holding a phone, another person in the room. They aren't trained to spot a student who just looks like they're thinking really hard, while an AI whispers answers in their ear. The tech has finally caught up to the incentive. This combination of stealth hardware and powerful AI doesn't break the rules of the game. It plays in a completely different stadium. If you're finding this breakdown both fascinating and a little terrifying, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We're always exploring how tech like this is changing our world in ways most people don't see coming. Your support helps us make more videos just like this one. Section 4. The implications. A new arms race. The fact that a nearly perfect cheating method exists has huge consequences that go way beyond one classroom. It's kicking off a technological arms race where the prize is the very meaning of our qualifications. As this tech gets better and cheaper, what are schools supposed to do? The obvious answers are either technologically extreme or a big step backward. Do you make students take exams in rooms swept for electronic signals? Use thermal cameras to find hidden devices? Or do you just give up on online exams and force everyone back into a big hall with a pen and paper? For huge online universities and global certification programs, that's just not realistic. And this isn't just a school problem. The same tech can be used for any high-stakes remote test. Think about licensing exams for doctors and lawyers. or those brutal coding interviews for big tech. In fact, an AI startup called Cluely has already openly marketed its tool as a way to cheat on everything. The founders, who were suspended from Columbia University for building a similar tool, raised millions, arguing that tools once seen as cheating, like the calculator, eventually just become normal. It brings up a really uncomfortable question. Are we heading to a future where being good at using a hidden AI is a legitimate skill? This is forcing a bigger conversation about what exams are even for. If a test is just about remembering and applying information under pressure, then maybe an AI that does it better has simply made that kind of test obsolete. The conversation in education is already shifting. Many are arguing to move away from memory-based exams and toward project-based work, oral exams, or assignments that force students to critique AI output, not just generate it. But this back and forth is classic technological disruption. As one side builds better defenses, the other builds better offenses. Anti-cheat software in video games, for example, now often runs at the kernel level, the deepest layer of a computer's operating system, to detect hacks. But that creates huge security risks, with cases where the anti-cheat driver itself was hacked and used to install malware. Doing something that invasive for a school exam is a massive ethical problem. It seems like the only thing that can really counter this kind of AI is another, even smarter AI. We are at a turning point. The fusion of tiny, invisible hardware and powerful multimodal AI hasn't just created a new way to cheat, it has fundamentally broken the trust in remote exams. The system we've just gone over isn't science fiction. The parts are all out there, and these methods are actively being used. And while institutions are scrambling to catch up, they're fighting on a battlefield that's changing under their feet. The technology of deception is simply evolving faster than the technology of detection. This leaves us with an unsettling question that every student, teacher, and professional has to face. If we can no longer reliably trust that a person has the knowledge they claim to have, what does that mean for the value of our degrees, our certifications, and our expertise? Is this the end of exams? Let me know what you think in the comments. And for more deep dives into how technology is changing our world in ways you can't even imagine, make sure you're subscribed.